Hi, welcome back, Dreamers. It is me, Matthew. This is episode 6 of Severino Snakes. No, I did not change my outfit. Whoa, those were not English words. I did not change my outfit from the last episode because I'm filming this right after. I just changed rooms. I really wanted to get these clips out of the way because there's a lot more we need to discuss and go over and explain and show and demonstrate and all those things. This is show and tell, not talk and tell. Ever heard that? So we are gonna go right into it. Again, trigger warning for racism, homophobia, sexism. Let's see, toxic masculinity, toxic parents, toxic household, yelling, screaming, all that jazz. It's in here. Suicide as well. Depression, anxiety, all of that. So if you get triggered by any of that, I'm just letting you guys know. We're gonna go right into it. If you remember, my dad is about to talk about him voting for Trump. There is exactly 27 minutes and 18 seconds in this clip. This one's probably gonna be a little bit longer as well, depending on how much I wanna talk in here. And I'm not sure what else he goes into. I don't remember the end of the conversation. Again, after a while, you just kind of space out for a minute when you're actually in the conversation, and hearing it back is kind of intense. So I think we should get into it. Also, I want to talk about something for 2 seconds because everything I do is very, very intentional, and everything I do, I make sure that I'm 100% in. I make sure that, like, this is for me. I am currently wearing some Disney joggers. No, I'm not a Disney gay, don't ask. But it is very significant to everything in my life. I make sure to take everything back that was put in a negative way at me, towards me, or whatnot. I'm taking this off, I don't care. So I just wanted to state that I'm wearing these because everything that my parents do, everything that my mom says, everything that my sister does, it is Disney, Disney, Disney. There's not a conversation that goes by that we don't talk about Disney. It is Disney, Disney, Disney. It's annoying. It pisses me off. It's frustrating. So I'm a Disney person. I love watching the Disney movies. I think they're great. I love listening to Disney music. I think it's great. Going into the parks is going to take me a lot longer to go back because I don't really want to. I don't care to. Once you've done it once, you've done it all, which in my family is blasphemy. But I just can't even imagine, like, all those families that, and there's a lot of them, that go to Disney World once a year. Or they save up and they're allowed to go once a year. Like, those people, go for you. Good for you. But, like, for a lot of us, especially like the middle class family, I'm pretty sure, they go to Disney World once a year, or just like Disneyland once a year. And I just can't imagine if you actually took the time to take your kids elsewhere, like across seas. Like, the amount of money that it takes to go to Disney, you could have done so many trips to like Paris and London and all those other places. Like, you seriously could have taken so much money and gone there. Like, it's not that hard, and I want to go into this later. It's not really significant right now. I'm going on a rant, so let's get back into this video.
Anyway,
Okay, voting Trump. So you're voting Trump because one of the reasons is that you think that he kept the country, he wanted to keep the country open.
No, it had nothing to do with that. Because he shut the country down anyway, so it didn't make any difference.
He didn't, the governors did, but
no.
he didn't. He declared a national emergency, which did diddly squat.
Right.
Then the states decided that they were going to shut down.
Whatever, but
that's true. Why are you saying whatever to me?
Because it did. They eventually did do that.
That's a fact. Okay. So my fact is correct, not a whatever.
Yeah. So anyway, I lost my train of thought. What were you saying?
Trump. Voting for Trump.
Oh, Trump. From an economic standpoint.
2 seconds in the video and I'm already annoyed. I knew I was eventually going to bring this up, but I wonder if you guys have these people in your family, I need you to write in the comments what it is that they do. My dad will take 2 seconds at every family dinner to tell you that he's been in the credit union business for 40 years. Now, that's an extreme. It's a little dramatic. I get it. But he likes to talk about financials a lot, My dad's very financially forward. He talks about it a lot. He will talk to you about he's been in the business for 40 years. And yeah, so like if your aunt works at like Disney World and she comes and sits at the table, I don't have an aunt that works at Disney World, just in case you're wondering, and like won't stop talking about Disney or like bring that up like in the first like 5 minutes of conversation. That's my dad with finances. Like my dad will always bring up finances. That's what he cares about most. Like he's always cared about that all of his life, I'm pretty sure. I can't really speak upon that, but I know from my life that he talks about it a lot. That's what he cares about, and I didn't really learn much about finances from him, oddly enough. I learned them all myself. I learned how to plan and budget and do all of that jazz all on my own because I'm independent.
And from a conservative standpoint, I'm voting for Trump.
Why?
Because he will nominate conservative Supreme Court judges who will rule based on the Constitution, not based on someone's feelings. Okay?
That's
What?
Why would we vote not based on both
On what?
experiences and the Constitution? Because the Constitution is outdated.
Well, let me put it this way: it's kept us the freest country in the world for over 200 years. So. Yet we still have black people oppressed, gay people oppressed, women oppressed, gender inequality, racial injustice, segregation. Oh, let's go into transphobia, xenophobia, immigrants, all of this stuff that is a problem in the country. But yet we're so free. We're so free to kill black people. Wrong. We're not the freest country. Well, in a sense, we are. We very much have free will and whatnot, but that is also somewhat of an issue. But yeah, we are a free country, regardless. Like, just the statement is true. Also, this is a terrifying thought. I wish I would have, this is crazy that this stuff is bringing up, the post office in the last episode. In this episode, now we're talking about RBG, RIP. So now there is an empty seat on the Supreme Court Justice Panel. This is what my dad is referring to, which is terrifying that now I can actually speak upon this, because this is back, I finally looked it up. This entire last 3 episodes were filmed on June 19th. This whole secret filming thing was on June 19th. And it's terrifying because now we have a Supreme Court justice seat open. There's a petition that I hopefully can get in the description below. If it's still open, you can sign it. It is to keep the Senate from voting on a new Supreme Court justice until a new president is announced. And by new president, I mean Joe Biden, when he wins. So this is what he's referring to, and he wants a conservative politician on the seat. But I still stand by this. I think, the Constitution is outdated. Obviously, we are having a lot of problems, and once there's a problem, go to the source of the problem. Source of the problem, I mean being Americans, really, but or white supremacists, Nazis that still exist, people who hate black people. Sorry, there's a lot of issues in this country. But we need to go to the written source, aka the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. And we need to, girl, we need another, what is it called? Oh no, what were they called? The first meeting of all the people. Sorry, I literally kind of constitutional convention. We need a constitutional convention, and we need to fix all this because it's crazy. It's crazy. All this stuff is just written by hand as well. That's kind of nuts, and that we just follow the rules that are written on hand. We need to fix those rules. Get some white out, get a Sharpie. Well, not a Sharpie. We might have to fix them later on again. Some white out. Grab a pencil, start writing. But I still stand by the argument that I was trying to make. I think it is important to go by experiences and how people feel, because how people feel is how the American country is built. We the people have feelings, and we the people want change. So we the people should be able to vote
and on like every issue, we should be able to like talk about this openly. Like, I'm going on a rant, I'm going on a tangent, but I'm hoping this is getting across. I don't want someone that's just going to go based off of the Constitution because the political views are more important than how they feel. That is incorrect. I don't want feelings to get in the way. I want feelings to be a direction to go. Because if you are a human being who should support Black lives, who should support LGBTQ plus rights, gender equality, transgender rights, then you should be able to... You should be able to put those feelings first. Those are the feelings you're supposed to listen to. Those are the feelings that will get us gender equality, that will diminish the wage gap between gender and race, that will put more women as CEOs, that will put more Black people as CEOs, that will make sure that no company is gaining too much money without being taxed a hell of a lot more, or without donating their money to a charity that's important to the people, not to them. These are the issues that we need to talk about. These are the issues that I want as a Supreme Court Justice leader sitting on that chair, the RBG was. These are the issues that I want in a Supreme Court Justice leader to replace RBG. Whether it's a woman or a gay man, a Hispanic, an Asian, any culture, I don't care who it is. Would it be great if a woman were sitting there? Absolutely. But if how about a younger white male? Like a 30-year-old, I'm sure I actually don't know what the requirements of being a Supreme Court Justice leader are. But if there's like a 30-year-old man, now they go on for a lifetime, which is another issue. And this video clip is running way too long. But anyways, I think it should be based on experiences and somewhat the Constitution, even though it's outdated. Where people are literally killing people and having a virus that could have been a lot better if we just shut the country down earlier.
Whatever. And I hear what you're saying. I don't believe what you're saying. Okay?
I'm pushing the conversation and you keep saying whatever to me, and it's really frustrating.
Well, I don't know what else to say though, because
anything but whatever. You're acting like a child when you say that word.
And you
I am pushing the conversation.
Okay, so my point is, I'm voting. You asked me. I'm voting because I believe you'll put conservative judges in the Supreme Court. That's exactly that hold the Constitution. That's my whole reason for voting for it.
There are already conservatives as Supreme Court justices.
And you've got 2 or 3 more people that within the next 3 or 4 years are going to be coming off the court. Okay? Now, what I have a problem with is when you have people like Kagan, who gets on there and she goes by, well, here's what I feel should occur versus here's what the Constitution says.
Do you know how many Supreme Court justices there are?
9, I believe.
Okay. Do you know how many of them are Black?
There are none.
There's 1. Do you know how many?
What's his name was?
Do you know
Clarence Thomas, yeah.
Do you know
conservative.
Do you know how many are women?
2?
2, no, 3. 2. Hold on, 3.
Unless what's her name?
Kagan. There's 3. There's 3, and they're all liberal, very liberal.
Okay. Do you know how many people voted against the rights of LGBTQ community members?
Huh?
And the Supreme Court ruling that happened a week ago? There was you didn't hear a single thing about it.
5-3 ruling or something like that.
6-3.
6-3. Okay.
All 3 of them are men.
Yeah.
1 included the Black man.
Yeah. So, what's the point?
So you think it is correct to discriminate against LGBT?
I don't, man.
I'm asking you a question.
I'm going to make it real simple.
Why are you screaming at me?
No. I don't believe, because you asked me a question I've already answered.
Cool, then don't scream.
The answer is real simple. I don't believe anyone, regardless of race, color, creed, sexuality or anything else should be discriminated.
So you are stating if
I believe that, I wouldn't have hired the
correct. So then
men.
why do you want 9 conservative people in the Supreme Court chairs voting against the act of discrimination? Why do you want 9 conservatives to say that you can discriminate against people?
Because I don't, personally, I'm just telling you my point of view, okay? Because I personally don't discriminate. I think they have the exact same protections as everyone else.
So I don't know why I started this argument in the first place. I don't know why I brought it up, to be honest. But I completely and utterly am so glad that I did, because it is just further explaining why my dad is insane. Putting 9 conservative justices on the court is ridiculous. Even if you are conservative, even if you are liberal. Also, there's also been 5 to 10 Supreme Court justices at one time. There's been 5 and there's been 10. So you can have less and you can have more. But I do want to say this. I think that even if you're a conservative, even if you're a liberal, like the 9 Supreme Court justices on the court should be progressive. They should be forward thinking. They should be for the people. And if we're talking if you really want to put people in boxes for liberal and conservative, then it should be equally shared, because maybe not equally shared, but enough opinions on the court where it's not all the same. If we have a unanimous vote on everything, it's not going to be good for the country either. We need challenging points of view so that we can push the things forward, which again, I guess is really progressive. So that's what I want on the court, is 9 progressive people that aren't labeled, the people who aren't going to put themselves in a box, to push the country forward.
Okay? In other words, my whole point is, I deal with real life all the time.
Okay.
So if I fired a gay person because they were gay, what do you think would happen to me?
God, I hope you get fired, but it wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
Because you're white.
And that's BS too. Listen, you get sued in the United States for blinking your eyes the wrong way. If you fire someone because they're homosexual, unless the situation, it happens to be in a church.
Then God hope that they would use the law against them, because you are not allowed to discriminate against.
And there are
as of 5 days ago.
No, there's always been laws on there.
No.
About that. Well, no, because even this whole scenario proves it. Because all they did was reaffirm a law that was already out there. All they said was that the previous law does cover homosexuality.
Okay, well now that's in there.
Gays. No, it was always in there.
No,
It's just the way
not
people
always.
interpret it.
Not always.
It's the way people interpret it. So anyway, all I can tell you is every course I take says that you cannot discriminate.
So how can you fire? How can you fire a gay person?
You don't fire them because
You don't fire a gay person, you just fire a person.
Yeah, you fire someone that's
Because they're not good at their job.
Right.
And it shows in
But
the
they're gonna come back to you
it shows in the
because-
numbers.
And
Hope probably not.
No, you're wrong. Listen.
I don't like this argument one bit. I don't like this argument because my parents want to say that if a gay person is fired, then they are going to sue the person that fired them because they're gay. I don't like this because it is starting to paint a picture of gay people that they are also, because black people have gone through the same thing. Now gay people we're still doing the same thing, but like it's interesting for me to hear this in action, that my parents are painting gay people, even though they stated that they don't discriminate, whatnot, but they are willingly to say that they're angry people that would sue the person that fired them, because the gay person would automatically think because they were fired is because they're gay. Are there instances 100% where they should sue because that's why they were fired? 100%. that is wrongful discrimination. What's the word? Wrongful termination. Wrongful termination. And you can sue for that. But saying that any gay person that would be fired because they're gay paints gay people as angry and revengeful, and that's just wrong. First of all, I'm sorry, out of every group box that we want to refer to, I hate boxes so much. Gay people are the funnest. Sorry to the straight people. Love y'all so much. Gay people are fun. Gay people are so much fun, and their drama's like petty and like easy to deal with, like block, delete, repeat. But like this family drama stuff, like it's too much. Like straight people are. Like I'm not discriminating. Like love y'all. Like I have a lot of straight people following me. Like yes, get it. We love the breeders, but also we're just more fun. I'm not saying y'all aren't fun because y'all are fun as heck, but like come on. If you had the choice between a straight and a gay man to take to the club, you're taking the gay man. You're just doing it. Or lesbian woman. Either way. We're more fun. And so for them to paint gay people just as so like vengeful and ruthless is like, hell yeah. That's not the word. We're fierce. Hi. Get with the program. No, I'm saying if you prove that a person who happens to be gay has low numbers consistently, I'm talking about your job. I assume it would happen in numbers. So their numbers are not happening consistently. Their numbers are off on book. They're supposed to be larger. They're supposed to be a different number.
Maybe they sexually harass them.
And Mom, listen, as a person who happens to be gay, let me finish. A person happens to be gay, their numbers are consistently low, their numbers are consistently wrong. You are firing them based off of their numbers, not because that they are gay. They cannot sue for that because that is not unlawful discrimination.
No, but they will. But here's what will occur: they will sue a lot.
But you can go into court and prove that is wrong.
I get that, but here's what happens most of the time. I'm just sharing with you.
Hi. So the next little bit. Like there's a little bit of a chunk missing. That is strictly because I'm covering all my bases, meaning I am being sued for a car accident. That is all I'm going to say, because, I don't want to say too much to lose the case or whatever. So that's all I'm going to say. That's why the chunk is missing, because I don't want to, just covering all my bases. Y'all understand. Love y'all.
But the point is, here's what I'm trying to get at. Same thing with, forget if it's any sort of minority, whether it's black, sometimes female, older, white guy, you'll understand what I mean in a second. Transgender, homosexual, whatever you want to call that grouping. If you fire anyone, then even for poor performance, many times what happens is they will sue saying it's because I'm homosexual. The company that bonds us, our insurance company, will look at that and go, honestly, it's not worth fighting. Just pay him out or her, and let's move on.
Mm-hmm. So, what are the reasons you wouldn't vote for Trump?
Why I wouldn't?
Correct.
Because he's an egomaniac. And I think he disrespects too many people, regardless of who they are. It's like...
So... Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
It's just... He reminds me of people I've worked for.
Okay.
That it's my way or the highway. Mm-hmm. And they treat you like you're
a number.
Even worse, really. And it's like
by labels, yeah.
And stuff. So that so I don't like it. Now Joe Biden. My problem with Joe Biden is I've never liked the man.
Why?
Huh?
Why?
because number one.
But you just said you didn't like Trump.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but you do not like either of them.
I get that. The better candidate is Biden.
That's your opinion, which is fine.
Okay, but I'm trying to understand why it's not correct.
No, I'm not going to change your opinion, though. So.
No, I know, I get that, but I'm trying to get you to tell me what your thinking is. What's your rationale?
My rationale is always going to be what I think is going to have the biggest impact in the country. So for me,
you think conservatives are going to do that?
So for me, Trump is a puppet head.
Okay, that's fine.
So meaning, all I care about is he will say yes to the fiscal responsibilities of the country, okay, and being conservative in that scenario. From Joe Biden's side, my problem is that he represents a little bit more moderate, but still a liberal point of view. See, liberals believe more government, Republicans believe less government, okay? So I'm always going to tend to vote for the person that I believe is going to be less government than more government. And so that's kind of where I stand on that. So.
Why don't you just vote forward?
But I am. See, I'm voting for the conservative.
Here's the thing.
Beliefs.
I think majority of Gen Z who are voting.
What?
Gen Z, my generation.
Oh, I didn't know this.
The majority of Gen Z
Yeah.
is going to be voting for Biden.
Of course.
For this term, just because he's the better of the two.
Of course.
I think somewhere down the line, hopefully, probably the next election, hopefully, God willing, that we will just vote forward. We will find a candidate that works for everybody.
I'm not sure Biden will live through it, but anyway, both of the candidates are over the death.
Right. But like, that's the thing is, I saw this post and I agree. And I think majority of people, I would say, at least to a Gen Z, probably millennials, would agree. There's a picture of this lady who's like fully tatted, whatever, saying, vote out the Republicans. She's supposed to be a Democrat. Then there's a picture on the right that has a person in a MAGA hat and a Donald Trump shirt, and it says, vote out the Democrats. Then there's the bottom picture where it's like a bunch of people standing next to each other, and they're white, they're black, you can tell some are gay, some are transgender, all of that, saying vote forward, vote progressive. So I don't understand, because obviously at this point we can tell that Joe Biden out of the two is a better person. And you're stating, hold on, so you are, out of the two, he is the better person.
We think he is, but...
Okay, I mean, it's subjective because I've never met the guy.
I'm sure he's a womanizer, but go ahead.
But besides that, I think that you're in my head, and you can clarify, that you are saying that you are voting for Trump because that money is more important than the human race.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I believe I believe that the ability to take care of people is more important than anything else. I don't believe the way that most liberals believe in handling things, which is whatever the issue is, we're going to throw money at it. And so what we've done is we've enslaved.
But if liberals think that they should defund the police...
So for me, the Democrats have over decades. First of all, the Democrats, to me, were the true racists in the country. Okay, you look at the history, the whole South at one point was all Democrats. Okay, you research it. Every person, and they were all white guys elected in the South. And I would say, and the majority of them believed in the white person being better than the black person. Let's put it that way. And that was all Democrats, okay? And so I think, personally, that many of the liberal programs that supposedly were going to help people, to me, have enslaved them. And I have a problem with that, because I think there are better ways of doing things. A perfect example, because everyone was in a rush to do something, we threw $600. If you're unemployed, the federal government's going to throw $600 at you.
That was also Trump.
He
signed it.
I get that, but it was, it was the Democrats and the Republicans.
Okay.
That's why I just said people didn't take time to think the process through. They just, and that's my problem with a lot of times with what's occurring is people jump before they think, then jump. Okay.
That's called progressive.
So anyway.
It's forward.
So what happened is, so we threw out $600. Here's what I'm getting at.
Okay.
$600 out. So your sister is making $600 for doing nothing.
Correct. And I'm earning a lot less than she is.
So my point to that is if you're faith, do you want to go back to work? Or do you want to continue to collect $600, which is more money than you were making when you were making?
Right.
My point to that
well, eventually they have to go back to work, so there's no choice.
Well,
you can't just sit on that money and not expect it to not.
No, but what it does is it incentivizes her to go back to work quickly. Okay? In other words, she's better, and that better. I'd rather not go back to work right now because I'm making more money. So, and my point is, a lot of the welfare programs that were put out there institutionalized welfare over this family, then switched to, had children, and then their children were on welfare, and then their children were on welfare, and then their children were on welfare. And then that's where you get to places like South Chicago, because they look at it and go, this is all life is about. And so all kinds of stuff. So some people say, well, I want a better life, so they go sell drugs. Or not saying some people do get out, obviously, but it's hard in those areas to get a good education because people fear for getting killed. I mean, because the shootings are regularly occurring. Drive-bys happen all the time in South Chicago. So you asked me why, because I think that while all Republicans and all Democrats don't have the best answers. Really, the way it best works is when they both work together. The reality is, and I think it's because of social media, is that over the last 10 years, nobody wants to listen to anybody. And the reason why they don't want to listen to each other is because if you're a liberal Democrat, and then what happens is you say, well, this Republican here, that idea, I think that would be a pretty good idea to help people out. What happens is once this liberal says something that goes that direction, all the real strong liberal Democrats crucify this person. So they go, oh, maybe I better not do that anymore. Republicans are the same way. Republican looks at it and say, I think that plan might be a better one than ours. And when they put it out there, and all the conservative dingies, start pouncing on them. So right now, the biggest problem we have is that too many people to the far left and too many people to the far right are controlling what the majority of us are doing. And so my answer is I vote typically on the Republican side because it tends to be more conservative and favors less government. That's the reason why I normally do that.
But I feel like it also favors less people.
I don't see. That's where I don't agree, because
But 3 out of
because because when the Democrats were in power, and it does, you talk about economics. So let's really talk about it.
None of it's about money. That's the problem.
You know, it's about, but economics brings, so the country's unemployment under Trump dropped to 3-point-something. Lowest, I think, ever. I'm not sure. Okay? What that does, and here's what my point is. What that does is it's created all these jobs and opportunities for people to step out of the lifestyle that they've been born into so that they can do and have more freedom.
Okay, but what if it was 0?
What do you mean 0?
What if the unemployment rate was 0%?
Yeah. And, well, it would, the probability that's almost 0.
Why?
Huh?
We can fix the unemployment rate to be 0.
We could, if we
That's
had,
like the point.
pardon?
That's the point.
Yeah, but here's what happens though. So you asked me on the thing. So on the Democrats always want to come up with these programs that instead of, so what they want to do is they want to tax, many times they say they want to tax the rich, and what's unfavorable is that the rich have gotten way too rich, but that's another story. But the reality is there's not enough money up here, so they're going to tax here. They're not taxing down here at all. The people making limited money are paying almost no taxes. Okay, the example is the amount of money you made and you got almost all your tax money back. People in the middle, I get taxed. I don't get most of that money back. Okay, it stays in the government. The people up here, they're not paying a lot of taxes because they've got tax attorneys.
So you just said Democrats want that. So why don't you want that? Why would you not want to tax the rich more?
Well, I didn't say I didn't want to. I want to. No. My point is, everyone should be taxed fairly, if that makes sense. First of all,
fairly or equally?
I think everyone should be taxed. Okay.
Equally or fairly?
You can't be equally.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Because the more money you make, the more you should be taxed.
Right. But I think there should be a limit to what you tax somebody, because otherwise, why should I do anything extra?
Right.
And because if you're going to take 90% of my income, I might as well work down here where you're only taking, say, 50%, and technically I'm making more money, if that makes any sense. But I think part of the problem that I have is that millions of people, a lot of people down here pay 0 taxes. Where I have a problem with that is, and again, it was created, anyway, so my issue is, if you're a citizen of the United States, to me you have a civic responsibility, just as you doing when you go march. You feel that's your civic obligation to be able to go out and march, to make change. Me, I vote to believe what I do makes change.
So my father is correct on both accounts. I very much feel like it's our civic duty to protest. So if you still have protests going on around you, go do them, because we need change, and they have made change regardless. But there is also another important issue. We need to go and vote. November 3rd is the voting day. November 3rd, right? Let's all make sure together. It's either the 2nd or the 3rd. Tuesday, November 3rd. Yes, correct. It's perfect. Tuesday, November 3rd. You need to go out and vote. Or you can request an absentee ballot as well, which a lot of people do because of voter fraud. So either way, make sure you're registered to vote. Tuesday was National voter registration day. So go out, register to vote, and do all of that jazz. I just literally on Tuesday registered to vote. I'm filming this on Tuesday, so that's why I keep slipping up, because I want to say Friday, because this episode comes out on Friday, but it's on Tuesday. Anyways, so today I registered to vote because I moved to Colorado. I sent in that today. So I did it on National Registration Day. Thanks for National Voter Registration Day for reminding me that I needed to do that. So now I'm good to go on voting. I need to get a lot of other stuff done. So let's continue the last couple minutes of this video. Well, yeah, I mean, it's both. You have a right to petition.
Right.
And you have, but like the whole point of petitioning, well, there's a lot of points to petitioning, but the petition, that's not the right word, protest. I have a right to protest, is what I was trying to say. The protests have a lot of motivation. There's obviously a lot of motives of what is trying to be accomplished, but one of the things every protest has in common is the fact that there's always somebody there that is getting people to sign up to vote, because obviously that is the most important thing that we can do.
Yeah.
But obviously it's not just the right to vote. It should be the right to educate yourself to vote.
I hear what you're
Because
saying.
if people just vote to vote, which is what happened in 2016, they're gonna vote for the familiar name, and obviously Trump's name was a lot more places than Hillary was.
I don't think that's why that occurred. I think it's because the way that the country was occurring at the time, people just didn't like the way it was going, so they voted quote unquote for a change. Now.
And now let's see where we go.
People might have said, well, maybe this isn't the change I wanted, but anyway. Matthew, you vote for who you want. I will continue to vote what I think I should vote and stuff. And I think my reasons are valid. I know you feel strong about the reasons why you're doing it, and I'm fine with that. And you know, do I honestly? I don't believe Donald Trump will win. To be quite frank with you.
I can't even. I want to prove my father correct. This is the only time I have ever wanted my father to be right. So go out and vote this year and make sure that my father actually is correct on this one and only stance, please.
But that doesn't mean I'm not going to vote, because it's my civic duty. And of the two, I think the one's more conservative than the other, and will continue to bring, while his nasty tweets will continue if he were voted in for another 4 years. Most of the conservative beliefs I have, I believe we continue to move forward. So. But I know you gotta get work scored. I have that. I'm supposed to be working right now.
Mm-hmm. Well, wasn't that fun? We just spent an hour and a half watching the most intense video. Actually, that wasn't even the most intense video I have. Me coming out is probably the most intense video I have on my phone. But this one was pretty crazy. The amount of topics that we've covered thus far. Now, we're going to get into the more, I think, personal stuff in the next episode. I'm going to explain why all of this really matters and how freaking crazy my life has been. Like, this is one conversation. This is one conversation that I swear we had like every single day leading up to the day that I left. And this was the longest. It was an hour and a half conversation, but it was still probably not even the most important that we had, that affected me at least. But thank you guys for watching. Remember, it all starts with an idea. Dream big. Love y'all. Black Lives Matter.